Hello there. Today I'm going to read you a story about a turtle named Franklin. Have you guys ever heard about Franklin the turtle? Franklin has a lot of friends. In this story, Franklin needs some help from his friends because he's afraid. Do you know what that word afraid means? Yeah, it's kind of like scared. Are you scared of things? Sometimes people are scared of things. Well, Franklin is afraid of the dark, and he has to figure out ways in order to not be afraid to go to sleep at night. It's kind of silly because he lives in a shell, right? That's what protects him. So when he puts his head inside, it becomes dark. So he really does have to solve the problem. Well, his friends in the story are also afraid of things. So we have to think about some ways that they solve their problems of their fears. It's called Franklin in the Dark. This story is written by, so the name of the author is Paulette Borges, and the illustrator, so the person who drew the pictures, is Brenda Clark. I love the pictures in here. The illustrator did such a great job. Look at those pictures. Okay. Franklin could slide down a riverbank all by himself. He could count forwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and backwards 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. He could even zip zippers and buttons, but Franklin was afraid of small, dark places. Show me your scared face. And there was a problem because, there was a dot, dot, dot. He looks happy right there, doesn't he? He looks like he's having such a fun time jumping in the pond. But remember, he was scared of dark, small places. Think about his shell. Is it a small place? Is it dark? Oh no, he really does have to solve this problem. But look he doesn't look happy anymore, does he? Nope. Franklin was a turtle, and he was afraid of crawling into small, dark shells. And so Franklin, the turtle, dragged his shell behind him. Well, that's pretty silly, isn't it? I bet these frogs are looking at Franklin thinking, what in the world is that turtle doing? If a predator came, he wouldn't be protected. That's what his shell is for, is to protect him. But he has to solve that problem of being scared, doesn't he? Every night, Franklin's mother would take a flashlight and shine it inside the shell. See, she would say, there's nothing inside. There's nothing to be afraid of. She always said that. She wasn't afraid of anything, but Franklin was sure that creepy things, slippery things, and monsters lived inside his dark, small shell. I could tell that he was afraid. Can you tell that he's afraid? That picture shows us, right? His mom is protecting him. So, I'm not going to show you the other picture yet. Ready? So Franklin went looking for help. He walked until he met a duck. Excuse me, duck. I'm afraid of small, dark places. I can crawl inside my shell. I can't crawl inside my shell. Can you help me? Maybe, quacked the duck. You see, I'm afraid of deep water. Sometimes when nobody is watching, I wear something. If you're afraid of deep water where you can't touch, what would you wear? A life jacket or something that will help you float. Would you like to see the picture? Look at, what did Duck use to stop his fears? He has 2 inner tubes on his wings, doesn't he? Did he solve that problem? He sure did. Ooh, I'm not going to show you the picture again. So Franklin walked and walked until he met a lion. "Excuse me, lion, I'm afraid of small, dark places, and I can't crawl inside my shell. Can you help me?" "Maybe," roared the lion. "You see, I'm afraid of loud noises. Sometimes when nobody is looking, I wear..." What do you think he wears to protect his ears? He's afraid of loud things. He wears earmuffs. "Would my earmuffs help you, Franklin?" "No," said Franklin. I am not afraid of great loud places. I'm afraid of the dark." So those earmuffs wouldn't work. Just like the inner tubes wouldn't work, would they? Let's see. So Franklin walked and walked and walked until he met a bird. "Excuse me, bird, I'm afraid of small, dark places, and I can't crawl inside my shell. Can you help me?" "Maybe," chirped the bird. "I'm afraid of flying. Ooh, so high that I get dizzy and fall to the ground. Sometimes when nobody is looking, I put on a..." He's afraid of flying? That bird is afraid of flying? But sometimes when people aren't looking, he uses something to help him. This one is harder. Do you know what that is called? It's called a parachute. Would a parachute help Franklin? "No," said Franklin. I'm not afraid of flying high and getting dizzy. He's afraid of the dark. This one is one of my favorites. Look at the polar bear. So Franklin walked and walked and walked until he met a polar bear. "Excuse me, Mr. Polar Bear, I'm afraid of small, dark places, and I can't crawl inside my shell. Can you help me?" "Maybe," growled the bear. "You see, I'm afraid of freezing cold ice. I'm afraid I might freeze at night. Sometimes when nobody is looking, I wear a snowsuit." Look at that. That's kind of silly. He wears it to bed. Would that snowsuit help Franklin? "No," said Franklin. I'm not afraid of freezing. I'm afraid of ice cold nights. Well, Franklin was tired and hungry. He walked and walked and walked until he met his mother. "Oh, Franklin, I was so afraid that you were lost." "You were afraid?" he asked his mother. "I didn't know mothers got afraid," said Franklin. So he never thought that moms got afraid of things. So now he thinks, well, if my mom is afraid, I wonder how she solved that problem. His mother is there. His smile is on his face. I can see that he's happy again. "Well, did you find some help?" he asked his mother. "No, I met a duck who was afraid of deep water." She said. "Then I met a lion who was afraid of loud noises." She said. "And then I met a bird who was afraid to fly, of falling when it flied, and a polar bear who was afraid of freezing." "Oh," she said. "They were all afraid of something?" Said Franklin. It was getting late. Franklin's very tired and very hungry. He walked and walked and walked until they were home. Franklin's mother gave him a cold supper and a warm hug, and then she sent him off to bed. "Good night, dear," she said. Do you think that Franklin feels comforted that his mom is there? Do you think you can look at the picture to know? Do you think that he feels safe with Mom? Now, I have to tell you something. If I look at this picture, Franklin is crawling in. Remember, Franklin needed to solve problems, and sometimes we need help from our moms or our dads or our teachers to solve problems, right? So I wonder what his mom did to help with that he was afraid of the dark. What did his mom do you think? What's your prediction? You store it right here, and we'll see if you're right. Well, Franklin knew what he had to do. He crawled right inside his small dark shell. He was sure he saw creepy things, slippery things, and a monster, but he said a brave good night. And then, when nobody was looking, Franklin the turtle turned on his nightlight. I bet his mom helped him solve that problem. Nightlights help sometimes when you're afraid of the dark. Man, I love that story because sometimes even adults are afraid of things and they have to solve those problems. Those characters in the story had great ways to solve those problems. It sounds kind of silly, right? A duck that doesn't like to swim in deep places, a lion that doesn't like sounds, and a bird that doesn't like to fly. Those sound kind of silly. But if you're truly afraid of something, sometimes you're scared and you have to have help to solve those problems. Have a great day.